Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stockwatch, and this is your Stockwatch list for Friday, August 11th. Well, August is quite volatile, with the S&P down 36, the Dow Jones down 205 today, and the Nasdaq down 135 points as the averages take a hit. The SPY is below the 50 SMA, first time in a long time on the daily. And the BBs, the Bollinger Bands, played out exactly as we thought. We spoke about this on Tuesday, August 8th, how we had hit that upper Bollinger Band and this shadow over this big move and reversal candle, and then we did see the move down. And I'll show you that also on the Dow Jones Industrial 30. And you see how we hit it, and we did reverse. So, we couldn't call it here because we had to see what the next candle was going to do. But when we took out the lows here and we got below the 5 EMA, you see the continuation move. Currently, the Dow Jones is coming up to the 20 SMA. And it's still one of the strongest markets right now. The Qs, the technology stocks, are down below the 50 SMA. The IBB also down below the 50 SMA, and you see these large candles on the IBB here. We are coming down to that breakout spot around that 304.50 area for the IBB. We'll take a look at the IWM, and this was kind of signaling it the whole time, right? I mean, this was showing weakness all throughout, and we were down below the 50 SMA for a while and couldn't get back above it. And then finally now we're pushing down to the 200 SMA on the IWM. IWC also pushing below, the micro caps pushing below the 200 SMA. On the daily chart that you're looking at. As far as the IYT, we tested the 200, the green line right here, the moving average, the 200 SMA. We pushed up off of it. Now we're back at it and closing below it on the IYT. This is the transport. So, the transports were showing weakness. Was this the canary in the coal mine? This all happened while the Dow was pushing up and making new highs. And this just couldn't get going. But everybody thought, and myself included, that we were going to hold this 200 SMA. And then we did push up off of it, but now we're right back to it. Today, oil just could not get over, that $50 mark. So the USO, big candle down here. On the WTI oil, light sweet crude, you see here's that 50 number. It got breached, and then we fell back down against it, and we are at the 20 SMA. So we're still in this tight range on the WTI oil. So the big pop today came in the VIX. And as you can see here, and we'll switch over to a weekly chart, but we are up against that 16 level here. We have been getting pullbacks from there. If you notice here, we couldn't get above it here. And so now we're at that 16 level on the VIX, which has been, causing, resistance. Let's just check out the weekly chart now, and you can see it a little more clearly. So here it is up against this 16 level now, so we'll see if the bears can continue up. Next level up is around that 20, and then after that we have 25-ish or so on the VIX. So some volatility is back in the markets, and we'll see who's going to be in charge. Nvidia had earnings after the bell, and that was down. I'll show you that chart in a moment. Snapchat came out with earnings, and that was getting slammed in the after hours also. So quite a few things taking a hit in the after hours. Nvidia was kind of the hope for the tech stocks today, and they did actually have good earnings. Just their growth was a little bit slower. As you can see here, the whipsaws going around, the algos, the volatility that came in after hours. It popped up to over 170, and then shot all the way back down to 152. So quite active. Snap as you can see on this 5-minute pre and post market chart. This also popped on their earnings up to 14, and then they drove it back down, and it closed below 1150 at 1143, and so that was Snap, two of the bigger names that came out with earnings. Let's go ahead and get into some of the things you're going to need to trade for tomorrow. Your futures right now, the Dow futures are up about 7, the S&P futures up about 1, and the NASDAQ futures up about 2-3 points there. For your economic information for tomorrow, you do have some CPI numbers coming out from Europe. You have Italy, France, Germany, and those are out in the wee hours of the morning. We have the Hong Kong GDP coming out at 4:30 a.m. At 8:30 we have the Consumer Price Index. 9:40 a.m. we have some Fed Speak, Robert Kaplan. At Fed Speak, Neil Kashkari at 11:30. Let's see if there's any other overnight for tonight. For Thursday, nope. And this is for Friday, the 11th. So here's your information. And don't forget, you have the Baker Hughes rig count at 1 p.m. on Friday. So just be aware of that. Earnings continue tomorrow, but does start to slow down for tomorrow. Here's your conference calls at earningscast.com. And you see how the earnings dwindle off for the rest of the day tomorrow. But good site if there's any earnings calls that you want to listen to. So we'll go ahead and check out some news also now. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of your top gainers for the trading day today, and this is courtesy of the Trade Exchange. Chef, C-H-E-F, L-U-N-A, QHC, HDSN, PRGO, RKDA, GNMX, GLPG, RIC, R-I-C-K, IPXL, EDIT, EDIT, and RADA, R-A-D-A. Some of your losers today, BW, FRTA, PPP, SYNC, NVIV, CPI, APEN, XTNT, CYD, APRN, NSU, and DDS, Dillard Store. So some of the stocks that were showing weakness today. We do have some call activity, unusual call activity in CBS, Glue, G-L-U-U, the gaming Glue Mobile, LC, MAC, PAGP, and RTN, Raytheon, and some put activity, unusual put activity in CMI, CSOD, CSX, FNSR, FCX, and VSTO. So that's some of your call and put activity, unusual for your discretion. Some news that came out after the bell: CHMA reached agreement with the FDA. Guild announces U.S. FDA priority review for GILD. GILD final FDA decision anticipated February 12, 2018. FLR floors phosphate mega project in Saudi Arabia begins production, and that was on FLR. UNXL earnings per share and revenue miss. WPM, Desert Star announces $65 million precious metals purchase agreement with Wheaton Precious Metals. That's WPM. SCLN, Silicon announces end of Go Shop period, with no parties designated as excluded parties. JWN beat on revenues after the bell. JWN earnings per share beat. CWH earnings per share and revenue beat. Snap we spoke about. Next up we had NWSA quarter 4 revenue, $2.08 billion, 2.1 expected on NWSA. CDNA beat by 2 cents, beat on revenue. AZPN beat by 35 cents, beats on revenue. Mark, M-A-R-K, beat by 9 cents, misses on revenue. Next up we had BIOC, misses by a penny, beats on revenue. NVIDIA, as we went over, came out with earnings and just not good enough with the height that stock had attained on the chart, and that one came down. HEAR, Turtle Beach, beats by 4 cents, beats on revenue. CAPR, Therapeutics, beats by 2 cents, misses on revenue. Next up, we had IGXT, misses by 2 cents, misses on revenue for IGXT. SPHS came out with earnings and they beat by 11 cents on SPHS. WPM Precious Metals beats by a penny and misses on revenue. So Wheat and Precious Metals came out with earnings. MNK says it got government U.S. DOJ subpoena over opioids, and that stock was down some after the bell. ADVM 150 million shelf filed for ADVM. Some of your earnings coming out before the bell tomorrow. The top names: AIT, CXRX, ERF, FELP, JCPenney, MGA, and TU. And PLNT CEO was just on Kramer's show and finished up. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into the watch list for tomorrow. It's not too extensive since the market was down today, and with Korea and the government of the United States spouting something every few minutes, that might make the futures a little on the downside. We don't know. So here's a short watch list, but I think some of these names are interesting nonetheless. AAC had expanding volume here, up to over 200,000 shares, coming up to that 850 area on AAC. This is medical care, so you can keep an eye on this one if it can maybe take out the highs today. 875 was the high, so maybe back over 855 might be an interesting play on that one. AMRS, this one was getting some action and over $3 in the after hours, so AMRS will be on watch for tomorrow. APC, gonna watch this one for a short, because now since the market we have some volatility to the downside, maybe we can start playing shorts. So APC, possible short here on the break of this candle's low, which was that 43.55. So below 43.50, possible short. CROX, looks like a flight to safety on this one, but possible break of 9, over 2 million shares traded in CROX. Duncan, possible short here, kind of bear flagging here underneath the 200 SMA, underneath this 54 spot. So keep your eye on Duncan for a possible short. Next one up, we have EDIT. This would be a long, over 1.9 million shares traded in the name, and we have a high today of 2039. Maybe back over 20, or if you want to try a little bit earlier, 1985. That was a good year, so maybe back over 1985 on EDIT. Showed relative strength for a down day in the markets. Etsy, basing below the 16 level and showed strength today in the market. 3 million shares traded, so watch for that 16 break in ETSY. FAST, has been in this tight channel, but looks like it's trying to break down now. So maybe below this candle here, we have a low of 42.21. We closed 42.36, and today the low was 42.30. So below that 42.20 area for FAST, for possible short on that name. Gold play GG, just because the GLD has been moving up, and I'll show you the GLD. And we do have that gap up on the gold, and you see we're hitting the upper Bollinger Band on GLD. So now we're going to see what they want to do with this. This kind of looks like an ADR the way it's been trading, these small tiny candles. But I'm not too convinced yet because of this action in GLD, so we'll see. But I do have a couple of gold stocks on watch, and one that I'm in was this AGI, and we spoke about this in previous videos, and we did get that breakout. Now we just need a little more continuation move in AGI, that gold name, and I spoke about this one. I think it was like last video and the video before that also. So back to what I'm watching, GNMX. Let me open this chart up for you. You see we're trying to expand these Bollinger Bands, over 500,000 shares traded. We have a high in the name of 138. So maybe over 135 for a possible continuation in GNMX. Groupon is hanging in there, holding above the 20 SMA, trying to get above the 5 EMA here. The white dotted line has a high of 403, so 405, maybe you get a continuation move. There's chatter around this name, GRPN, so we'll see what they want to do. IPXL had some nice volume today, almost 3 million shares. We are coming up to the 300 SMA moving average here. Needs to get over that 1850 spot on IPXL. And next one up is JNUG. Popped off this lower Bollinger Bands, trying to break up over $18 a share. So if you're interested in playing, one of these gold 3 times, don't hold these overnight though. They're kind of dangerous. The high today was 1807, so 1805 might be enough to get JNUG going. KTOS, out of this one, I was in it, I took some profits, but then now it's pulling back and trying to hold this $12 area. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. It's a defense name, security and protection. So this one, might be holding up and might give us another re-entry on KTOS. MBRX actually held up pretty well today, trying to get up over that $3 level. So far, no luck. 298 was the high, 288 was the close, so maybe 295 is enough to get it over $3 on MBRX. Nugget, NUGT, looking maybe for a possible continuation move. Obviously depends how gold is going to do. PAAS, they came out with earnings and they popped nicely, so let's see if we can get a move in this silver stock. We got as high as what was it, $18.17. Not a fast trader. This would be more maybe of a swing trade. Could be in the sweet spot right now with all the volatility going on, so maybe some of these silver stocks, gold stocks will continue. Almost 6 million shares traded. PFIE, looking for this one to continue up, almost 500,000 shares. Good relative strength today, so maybe back over that, almost $1.50 break is the natural resistance here. If it can get up over that, you could see, some clear sailing in the name on that was PFIE. RADA gave a nice pop, so we'll see how this sets up intraday. 2 million shares came in. I believe this was on earnings. SGMO, also nice pop. Looking for this to take out maybe that 960, 65 for a continuation move. 2.1 million shares traded. There was some down movement in it after hours, so that makes me a little more hesitant on the name, but we'll see how it sets up. SHOP, this one has been hot as a pistol, and so I think this you could play short or long. If it breaks down through the lows tomorrow, 88.21. You might get a continuation down to maybe like 85 area on SHOP, or could bounce off that 88 level and turn around. But, I'm thinking more to the short side. It's had a big run, and tomorrow's Friday, so we'll see, how they're going to open this market. SSRM, nice strength today, 2.6 million shares, another silver name. This used to be the old SSRI. So that name got changed to SSRM. So this is SSR Mining, and so another silver. So I'm looking for this as a play intraday. TXMD actually held up today, was up 1.8%. And so I'm looking for maybe a continuation move in TXMD. WPM, this was the silver, this is the Wheaton name, and looking for this silver name maybe to make a continuation up through 20, and after hours it was bidding up over 20. WWE showing some strength today, up 2.16%. Looking for that 2150 break on WWE, and we'll see if we get a continuation move in that name. So that's your watch list for tomorrow. Take it slow tomorrow. It's Friday. Don't overtrade. Today I think I did one trade, and that was in that PAAS. Made a little bit of money and just, shut it down for the day. I'm not going to push it, but I would lean towards like gold and silver plays, and go from there. All right. I showed you the VIX, showed you the S&P. Did I show you the IBB? I believe I did. Yeah, I showed you that. And that's all I have for tonight. All right. Don't forget, over the weekend I'll be doing a Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. That's usually out on Saturdays. And then Stocks to Watch comes out on Sunday. So everybody enjoy your weekend. Thank you for the support on the station, on YouTube, and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for listening.